Call today. Bank where you belong at State Bank of BMAN. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
WHOW planting reports are brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick, AAK Mechanical, Peterson Insurance, Longview Bank, and State Bank of Beemont.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The news is brought to you by Baum Chevy Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. Museums across the country are spending this summer finding ways to honor America's 250th birthday. Director of the C.H. Moore Homestead and DeWitt County Museum, Joey Long, explains that as a part of this summer's series of America 250 themed events, the annual Quilt Show will be making a return with a patriotic twist.
Sure. So, as many listeners probably are aware, this is the year of America 250, an opportunity for us to celebrate this big milestone and 250 years since the Declaration of Independence was signed. And so in honor of that, we are putting on a year-long series of special events. There will be at least one special event each month taking place at the museum under the banner of America 250 at the Homestead, celebrating 250 years of American history. So in June, we always have our annual quilt show, but this year, as a part of America 250 at the Homestead, we're going to put a little patriotic twist to it.
During the month of May, Long is asking for community members to loan their quilts to the museum to be displayed. They are seeking quilts with red, white, and blue themes, or ones that honor the country and its history in some way.
So the quilts that we will be accepting for loan for this quilt show, we ask that they all be red, white, and or blue, or have a patriotic theme or an Americana theme, thinking something like, like the Baltimore quilt patterns or flag patterns or something as American as apple pie, something like that. Mm-hmm. And we've already been able to gather up a few that were brought in by one of our board members the other day that someone had loaned to her. And just really neat examples of Americana quilts. So if you're interested in loaning a quilt to us for the month of June, we collect those up in May. So give me a call at the museum and I will fill you in on when we would need to have the quilt by and any other details, answer any questions. And as far as the quilts that we take as loans for the month of the quilt show, we take quilts of any type. So they can be, old quilts, antique quilts. They don't even have to be in perfect condition. We just ask that they be clean. We also are interested in vintage quilts or even brand new quilts. So just go through your closets, go through the attic, go through your sewing room, and bring those quilts into us. It's going to be a great show.
The quilts will be on display at the Homestead during the entire month of June. For more information, call 217-935-6066 or send an email to chmore.homestead@gmail.com. Find a full calendar of America 250 events at chmorehomestead.org. Coming up shortly on this expanded newscast, University of Illinois Extension Commercial Ag Educator highlights skinny farm bill passage. Registration is open for those 4-H'ers with the goal of showing at the fair this summer. On the WHOW Morning Show Monday, Marissa Capps, 4-H Youth Development Program Coordinator with the University of Illinois Extension in DeWitt, Macon, and Piatt counties, told the Heart Media Group that fair season kicks off with the DeWitt County Horse Show on June 27th.
Fair season is upon us. You are absolutely correct. Your 4-H staff have been incredibly busy. getting things prepared. We have our horse show coming up June 27th and June 28th, excuse me. So June 27th and June 28th is our horse show. And then our general project show with our livestock show as well will be July 9th through July 12th. And we are incredibly excited for that. Right now, for our 4-H members, fair entry is open to register for your projects. So get your projects registered. If you have any questions, please reach out to your local extension office. Your 4-H extension program coordinators would be very happy to help you answer any questions.
The 4-H fair is not just for 4-Hers and their families. Cap says this is a great opportunity to learn about and appreciate all the hard work that the kids in the community put into their projects.
It's going to be our standard horse show this year, but last year was really a great showing, and we are hoping for another great showing this year. It's a really great opportunity for even just the general public to come out and see how our 4-Hers work with their horses and how much work and effort that they've put in over the year. It is amazing to see their dedication and passion for what they truly love come out with, especially with livestock, because you're right, it does take a lot of care. Those are early mornings, late nights, lots of hard work for all of them, but just livestock especially. But yeah, it's very rewarding to go and see how much their work pays off during the show. And that costume contest, that's so much fun. That can't be beat.
Those looking to get involved with the fair can volunteer to be general project judges, which Cap says is a huge area of need. She notes that you do not have to be an expert on the project area because you are provided with judging guidelines.
So right now we are looking for judges for our general projects. And that ranges, we don't ask for somebody that's actually absolutely an expert in their field. We just would love for somebody who enjoys working with kids and enjoys letting kids share their passion, but who might have an interest in the field that they are judging as well. So things like babysitting is one of the categories. So one of our members would bring in a project that they have based on babysitting. We've seen anything from first aid kits to games and crafts packages that they've created to bring with them on babysitting adventures.
Gotcha.
And they would bring that to the judge, and the judge would go through their rubric, which is provided, and they would give their feedback. It can be a big time commitment depending on the project area. We would ask at least to have people be prepared for a few hours at the very least, at least maybe half a day. We would appreciate.
4-Hers or their guardian should have already received an email with a link to register for the fair. CAPS reminds that you must register each of your projects if you are showing more than one.
With registration for the fair, any 4-H member would have received an email about how to sign up for fair entry. And that is where you would go to sign up for the fair, is fair entry. That is where you're going to go and sign up all of your projects. There's a specific area where you can click for 2026 DeWitt, Macon, Piatt Fair. So there is an actual button for the 2026 year. So you want to make sure you're clicking on that one. And then there's just a simple breakdown of this is how you register, and all of the project areas are broken down into specific project areas that were not broken down on Z Suite. I know we had a lot of questions on there. So any members, any parents that are on right now or listening, fair entry will be broken down more specifically.
Learn more about 4-H in DeWitt, Macon, and Piatt counties by visiting extension.illinois.edu/DMP. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
Baum Chevrolet Buick offers full transportation options while giving you peace of mind. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. This is what we do every day. We listen to you, give you options for routine maintenance, major mechanical problems, or collision repairs with a staff that's knowledgeable to find the best option for you. Baum Chevrolet Buick, your full-service dealer. See us at baumchevybuick.com right from the start.
News time is 21 minutes after the top of the hour. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Last week, federal lawmakers passed what is being called a skinny farm bill, and a local University of Illinois Extension ag educator is promoting the highlights of the legislation that will impact Central Illinois producers. Reagan Tibbs, a commercial ag educator at the U of I Extension, says the legislation includes several key provisions that were excluded from previous iterations of the Farm Bill. He is watching what lawmakers did regarding renewable fuel standards, pesticide labeling, and SNAP benefits.
What do most people my age do? They pay attention to sports, everything. I pay attention to congressional debates during my day. So yesterday, the House Representatives passed the skinny farm bills, it's being called, which includes, I think you and I have talked about before, a lot of the provisions that were not in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which was passed last summer. So they went through the whole debate process. They actually started on Wednesday evening, like super, super late. I think they got done like 2 or 3 in the morning out there. You know, that's really hard for the people in Congress to work on sometimes. And so yesterday's, they went through a lot of amendments. Some of the amendments included renewable fuel standards, pesticide labeling and lawsuits, rotisserie chickens. Can you purchase a rotisserie chicken on SNAP, which has been a pretty interesting debate to listen to. So that bill passed yesterday. I believe the vote was it was a close-ish vote, but it got enough votes to pass through. There was some bipartisan support there for it and some bipartisan opposition, most notably. So now is the Senate. The Senate has seemed that they're going to begin the process here soon. Obviously, there's a lot of other things still in the Senate that they have to work on. So it'll probably take some time for them to consider it, and they're likely going to have their own changes they're going to want to make. For example, if there was an amendment in the House that didn't get on and the member of the House really wants it in there, they're going to try to work their connections in the Senate, try to get it in the Senate version of the bill. And so likely we'll see some changes in the Senate. And then when that happens, they'll have to go back to the House and see if the House approves it. So it's still going to take some time for it to get approved. But hopefully now that it's passed through the House, it's cleared one major hurdle. It's got a couple more to go still.
A major point of discussion in the bill is the approval of year-round E15 fuel, a topic of consistent interest for various commodity groups and the Illinois Farm Bureau. Tibbs explains that while these decisions are made in Washington, they have direct implications for local producers through updated program requirements and regulations.
I think one of the big topics is E15, year-round E15. That's one we hear seemingly every year or every time the Farm Bill comes up, or even most times, is just, can year-round E15 get approved? I know a lot of commodity groups and farm bureaus and others, have positions on that. That seems to be a sticking point with some. The pesticide labeling and lawsuits was a topic this year that got a lot of attention and got a lot of publicity when that amendment came up. So I think those types of things that, on a broad spectrum, I think, oh, well, those decisions made in Washington, they may not necessarily affect me. But as a producer, you do have to be mindful, especially if it changes program requirements or enacts new rules or regulations that we have to follow as local producers.
The bill also addresses critical conservation programs, including the renewal of Conservation Reserve Program, or CRP, to its traditional 5-year cycle. Furthermore, it expands support for specialty crop growers and promotes the use of precision agriculture technology through the Environmental Quality Incentives Program, or EQIP.
Definitely, I think we need to get the renewal for things like CRP done. That's in this bill to renew it back to the normal 5-year cycle like we've normally seen. And other sort of those those conservation type programs, equip, adding things to promote precision agriculture use for some of those conservation programs. I think it's something that as precision ag technology become more and more prevalent and more widely used across agriculture, having those in there really been impactful. And then also expanding support for specialty crop growers through our commodity programs. Those seem to get put on the back burner when we talk about commodity programs. And so if we can add in support some of those specialty growers across the country and here in Illinois, I think that'd be really impactful as well.
Significant adjustments were also made to commodity support programs, specifically regarding effective reference prices for agriculture risk coverage and price loss coverage. According to Tibbs, the bill reallocates conservation funding that was previously managed by the Commodity Credit Corporation under the 2021 Inflation Reduction Act.
It doesn't include every single provision that we would normally find in a farm bill, just those ones that were not in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that was passed last summer. The changes to the commodity support programs, so those mostly being ARC and PLC, it changed the effective reference prices for those, which had been pretty stable since the 2014 and 2018 farm bills, but again, were adjusted and increased for most of our covered commodities. There are some other changes relating to some other programs. It changed a lot of how the funding was allocated for conservation programs. If we go all the way back to the it was 2021, I believe, with the Inflation Reduction Act, whenever that was passed, that allocated a lot of money to the Commodity Credit Corporation for conservation programs. What the One Big Beautiful Bill did was it took that money that was in the Commodity Credit Corporation and reallocated it back out to some of those conservation programs, but then also used it to support some of those increases in commodity.
The legislation now heads to the Senate for further consideration, where additional amendments and changes are expected before a final version is approved. Among the issues that should be considered when debating data centers is decommissioning protections. It's something Illinois Farm Bureau Director of Business and Regulatory Affairs, Bill Bodine, addressed during his testimony at Illinois House and Senate subject matter hearings last month.
You know, one thing that we brought up that was a little bit different than some of the other groups, and I haven't really talked about much yet, is the fact that we do think there should be some form of regulation or requirements around decommissioning these sites. We have decommissioning protections in place for renewable energy projects, but the concern is for data centers, we don't have that currently. And if essentially what a data center is a very large warehouse full of computers. Well, things could change in that world. Things could change in the data center industry. And if that should occur and those data centers become obsolete because other technologies have come on board, the concern is you could have a large structure or structures out in rural areas that have little or no use. And so we're bringing that up as a topic of conversation because we think it's something that needs to be thought about going forward. If that occurs and these projects are abandoned, it's especially challenging in rural areas. What are you going to do with this large warehouse structures that are located in a rural area that maybe don't have any use and they've been abandoned? So we do think there should be some sort of bonding or financial protections for decommissioning in that sort of instance, just to protect rural communities from having to deal with what could turn into being, eyesores or even dangerous situations because you've got old abandoned, very large buildings out in rural areas.
Bodine says the primary concern about data center development is the impact on water and electricity demand. The fifth leading killer of Americans is stroke, which is caused by either a blood clot or bleeding in the brain. While more commonly in the elderly, it can also occur in young people.
A lot of people refer to mini strokes, what we call TIA, so transient ischemic attack. It can be a transient slowing of blood flow to an area of the brain that resolves on its own. However, it is typically meaning that there may be a bigger stroke coming.
Anyone who develops symptoms of a stroke should call 911 or go to a hospital emergency room immediately. You should work with your physician to manage risk factors and help prevent a stroke and make it a priority to stop smoking. Get news anytime from DeWitt County's #1 source for news, sports, police blotter, obituaries, and more, DeWittDailyNews.com.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. President Trump's mission to open the Strait of Hormuz has cost the Iranians at least a half dozen of their small boats. The U.S. military sank the vessels after they tried to stop Project Freedom by firing missiles and drones, and Secretary of War Hegseth will soon be giving an update on the Iran situation. The man who was shot by the Secret Service near the White House yesterday is hospitalized, will face multiple charges. Authorities say the suspect fired first. If nothing else, they're persistent. Alleged narco-terrorists trying to get their deadly cargo into the U.S. Another suspected drug-running boat sunk in Latin American waters. Primaries today in Indiana and Ohio, and that includes a Republican gubernatorial primary in Ohio. Dow futures up 78 points. NASDAQ futures 129 points higher. More details, srnnews.com.
Maybe this is you too. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives, and MediShare is proven. You can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted. It works. It's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE. 844-45-BIBLE.
From the Heart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. High school seniors across the country signed contracts to play their sport at the next level this time of year. On Friday, 7 Clinton seniors signed their letters of intent to continue their athletic careers as they pursue higher education. Dylan Wright signed at Greenville University to run track and field.
I've been wanting to do track for as long as I can, so it feels really good to be able to do it in college as well. I think what really hit me was the coaches. The coaches really reached out to me, and they were talking a whole bunch to me because I tried to go to some other colleges, but they weren't really talking as much as Greenville coaches were. They were talking just a lot to me. One of our coaches, Coach Spencer, he's helped me a lot through hurdles because when we were in junior high, we didn't really have like a hurdles coach necessarily. But going into high school here, we had a hurdles coach, which really helped push me throughout.
Abel Courts is signing at Central College to run cross country and track and field and study mechanical engineering. He's looking forward to being challenged athletically as well as academically.
I'm going to be going to Central College, which is in Pella, Iowa. It's a smaller college, and I'm going to be studying mechanical engineering. I'm going to run cross country and track. What made me like it was, first of all, the coach. I really liked his priorities, and I really liked the team. I had an overnight with the team, and that was kind of what clicked it for me as just the environment really felt at home there. So I'm looking forward to be challenged because of the challenging major, but I'm just excited to learn more about what I want to learn more about. I'm excited to have smaller classes where I can ask more questions for my professor and get better in all areas.
John Smock is going to play football at Concordia University, Wisconsin, and major in exercise science. After missing his senior season due to injury, he can't wait to get back out on the field.
I'm going to Concordia University in Wisconsin, and I'm majoring in exercise science and playing football. The culture there and just the environment, it felt more of like a brotherhood, and they have a lot of really nice facilities, and the coaches are great. Definitely my dad and Coach Bass and Coach Wayne. Coach Bass was always in my ear practices, telling me like what to do and teaching me a lot about leadership. I'm just excited to get more seasons and get more snaps on the field.
Abby Moser will be taking in the beautiful views of Lake Michigan as she competes in track and field and pursues nursing at Carthage College. The holder of 3 school records, she is proud of her accomplishment, but says that records are meant to be broken.
I am going to Carthage College in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I'm going to be majoring in nursing and competing on their track and field team. The campus is right on the lake, so it's really beautiful. Their nursing program is top notch, and I'm really excited to be on their track team. Their coach is really great. I've now gotten 3 school records, so I'm pretty excited with that.
Yeah.
I'm very happy about it. It's a great accomplishment, but I am also looking forward to someone one day breaking those because records are meant to be broken.
Keegan Daughtry was looking for somewhere that he could build his passion for basketball as well as ministry and found that at Luther College. He said it was Luther basketball assistant coach Jake Boyd who helped him decide.
I was really trying to base my decision on my main focus of ministry and going into somewhere where I could go and progress in that. And also getting the chance to play both sports that I play at the next level is an opportunity I didn't want to pass. Yeah, Coach Boyd, the basketball coach there, was really, really just friendly and got me there. And he was really the one that helped me make a lot of the decision. He just gave me a real nice feel for the place and made me know that's where I wanted to go.
Carly Anderson will be staying in Central Illinois as she heads to Lincoln Land Community College to play basketball. She says having the support of her friends and family by staying close to home is important to her.
So I'll be playing at Lincoln Land College. It's in Springfield, and I committed there back in September, and so I'm ready for a new team and a new place. Yeah, so when I was touring different schools and I ended up at Lincoln Land, first off, the coach was awesome. He was hilarious. Like, he just had a great attitude to everything. And when I was at other places, I didn't feel like that. And I guess it didn't really feel more like home. And a big thing too is that I'm really close to home. Yeah, having that support, I think, will help me, go even farther, later on. But I think having their support there while, being new to this new environment and having these new challenges, I think having them close by and having other people that support me close by will help me face those challenges.
Clara Dempsey is also playing basketball at the collegiate level, going to Southeastern Community College. She will remember her time at Clinton fondly, but says that her education will be her main focus in college.
Yeah, I'm going to Southeastern Community College. It's a small JUCO in West Burlington, Iowa. I'm going to be studying radiography to hopefully get my radiology degree down the road. So I'm very excited for that. Yeah, this program, we had our ups and downs, especially as underclassmen, a lot of losses, but I feel like that was really a place for us to grow, not only as a team, but as a family. I've really appreciated my 4 years at Clinton, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else. It's been such a big blessing. Yeah, my main focus is always going to be career and schooling first. So they have a very good radiography program. And then basketball was just a perk and a plus. The coaches are amazing. And when I got on campus, I was like, yeah, this is where I want to be. So
congratulations to the Clinton seniors who will be moving on to the next level of their sport. Check out the full interviews by finding IL Sports Wire on your preferred social media platforms. In a game heard on WHOW, Munetaka Murakami hit his 14th homer, and Miguel Vargas also went deep as the Chicago White Sox beat the LA Angels 6-0 on Monday night.
0-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. Trying to do it again. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Good start. Swung on and missed by Neto. He has struck out again. 5 Ks through 10 batters for Martin. Football teams do that.
Yeah.
Called strike 3 on a cutter.
Boy, I love it. Davis Martin started walking off the mound as if to say, next.
The pitch, swing and a miss on a low slider. Strike 3. He's got 8 strikeouts. Swing and a miss. Frazier strikes out. That's 9 for Martin. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Davis Martin with 10 strikeouts, first time in his career. He's hit double digits.
Catch the second of the 3-game series for the White Sox and the Angels tonight on WHOW. Pre-game starts at 8 p.m. Pinch hitter Michael Conforto capped a 2-run ninth inning with a solo homer, and the Chicago Cubs rallied to beat the Cincinnati Reds 5-4 on Monday night for their 6th straight victory. Seiya Suzuki hit a 455-foot home run for the NL Central leaders, who improved to 23-12 with their 16th win in 19 games. Chicago has won 12 in a row at home the team's best streak at Wrigley Field since a 14-game run in 2008. The Reds took a 4-3 lead in the 8th when Spencer Steer lined an RBI single against Ben Brown, only to drop their 4th straight. Pete Crow Armstrong tripled leading off the 9th against Emilio Pagan on a ball that popped out of center fielder Dane Meyer's glove as he tried to make a leaping catch against the wall. Crow Armstrong scored 1 out later on Nico Horner's sacrifice fly. Conforto, batting for Matt Shaw, then drove in a 3-2 pitch to left center and was mobbed by happy teammates as he crossed home plate. The teams waited out a delay of an hour and 40 minutes at the start because of a thunderstorm after the game was initially moved up a half hour. The Cubs trailed 3-0 in the 4th before Suzuki tied it with a 3-run drive off Chase Petty, Chicago's longest homer of the season. Edward Cabrera went 6 innings, allowing 3 runs and 9 hits. He gave up a homer to J.J. Bleday, leading off the 3rd, and a 2-run drive to Ke'Bryan Hayes in the 4th. Ryan Rollison worked in the 9th. In his first major league start this season, Petty gave up 3 runs and 4 hits in 5 2/3 innings. The Reds recalled the right-hander from AAA Louisville prior to the game. Cubs righty Jamison Taylor looks to win his 2nd straight start, while lefty Andrew Abbott gets the ball for the Reds. Taylor tossed 7 solid innings at San Diego last week. Kyle Leahy pitched 5 1/3 innings of 1-run ball. Ivan Herrera drove in 3 runs, and the St. Louis Cardinals beat the Milwaukee Brewers 6-3 on Monday night. Leahy struck out 5 and walked 2 while giving up 6 hits. Riley O'Brien recorded the final 2 outs and earned his 10th save of the season. J.J. Weatherholt went 2 of 4 with 2 RBIs, and Mason Wynn added an RBI and a run scored. Weatherholt opened the scoring with a single to center field that scored Wynn in the 2nd inning, giving the Cardinals an early lead they never surrendered. Herrera extended it to 4-0 with a bases-loaded double in the 4th inning. The Brewers scored in the top of the 6th when Luis Rengifo drove in Jake Bowers on a single to left field. Bryce Terang hit his 5th homer of the season in the 9th to pull Milwaukee within the final margin of 6-3. The Brewers went 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position. St. Louis scored single runs in the 7th and 8th innings. Wynn hit an RBI single, and Weatherholt drove in Victor Scott II with a single in the 8th. Chad Patrick took the loss for the Brewers after allowing 4 runs on 7 hits in 3 1/3 innings. Patrick struck out 4 and walked 3. Jackson Chourio finished 4 for 4 in his first game back in the lineup for the Brewers. Chourio went on the IL in the morning of opening day with a fractured bone in his left hand after playing for Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic. Right-hander Brandon Sproat takes the mound for the Brewers against righty Andre Palante in the 2nd of a 3-game series. The Chicago Bulls hired Atlanta Hawks executive Bryson Graham to lead their front office on Monday, hoping he can turn around a struggling franchise. Graham takes over as Chicago's executive vice president of basketball operations after the organization fired Arturas Karnisovas a month ago. He spent this season as Atlanta's senior vice president of basketball operations after a 15-run in New Orleans front office that saw him rise from intern to general manager. He had a hand in the Pelicans drafting Trey Murphy III, Herb Jones, and Dyson Daniels in recent years. The Bulls fired Karnisovas and general manager Mark Eversley in early April after 6 years and 1 postseason appearance. They went on to finish 12th in the Eastern Conference at 31-51 while missing the playoffs for the 4th straight year. Graham will need to hire a new coach. Chairman Jerry Reinsdorf and President and CEO Michael Reinsdorf had hoped to retain Billy Donovan, but the Naismith Hall of Famer opted to resign after 6 seasons, avoiding a potentially awkward situation with new management. Graham inherits a team with 2 promising young